History time, it's history time, learning stories from our past, it's history time. Hi there, welcome to History Time. My name is Carrie and I work at the National Museum of American History. We have lots of things at the museum that help us learn about American history. We call those things objects. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of our objects that help us learn about leaders. Have you heard the word leader before? A leader is someone who is in charge. For example, a teacher is a leader in the classroom, and the president is the leader of the United States. What about you? Are you a leader? Maybe you've been a line leader at school, or maybe you take charge at home by helping with chores. In the United States, being in charge of the country is shared by different kinds of leaders, like the president and senators and congressional representatives. All of these leaders are chosen by people who vote for them. To learn more about how that works, check out our video on voting. The link is in the description below. But how do you know who to vote for? How do you know what someone believes in or what their plans are for leading the country? Let's take a look at some objects that can help us figure it out. Here is a picture of our first object. When we are learning about a new object at the museum, it is important to use our careful noticing skills. Careful noticing skills like looking, listening, smelling, and touching help us learn. What do you notice about this object? I notice that this object is black, white, and gray. There are words in black letters. I notice a person in front of a building. I also notice that the person is wearing glasses and holding something that could be a book or magazine. Now that you have had a chance to use your careful noticing skills, what do you think you know about this object? I think that this object is a photograph. I think that this object might be old because it is black and white. What do you wonder about this object? I wonder who the person is in this photograph. I wonder what the words at the bottom of this photograph mean. This is a picture of Shirley Chisholm. Shirley became a congressional representative for the state of New York in 1969. That means that people in a certain part of New York voted for Shirley to be their leader in the United States Congress. As a congresswoman, Shirley helped make rules and laws for the United States. 4 years later in 1972, Shirley decided to try and become the president of the United States. But in order to get people to vote for her to be the president, she had to show them why she would make a good leader of the country. Shirley made campaign messages like this one to show people why they should vote for her. Campaign messages are messages that people share when they are trying to be a leader in the government. These messages are made to tell voters why they should vote for a particular person. Campaign messages can be in newspapers or magazines, on television or the radio, on the internet, or on things like t-shirts, hats, and buttons like these. Let's take a close look at the words in this picture. They say unbossed and unbought. What does it mean to be unbossed or unbought? For Shirley, it meant that she decided how to be a good leader by talking to the people in her community to find out what they needed their leaders to do. Shirley felt that other leaders sometimes made decisions based on who paid them a lot of money, instead of what the people in their communities needed and wanted. She wanted people to know that she could not be bought or paid to do what any one person wanted her to do. She would work for all the people in her community. Shirley didn't end up becoming president, but she was elected to Congress 7 times. I guess the people in New York who voted for her liked that she was unbossed and unbought because they kept choosing her to be their leader. I hope you enjoyed learning about Shirley Chisholm with me today. We learned that before we vote for leaders in our government, it is important to find out what they believe in and what things they plan to do. Otherwise, how do we know if they're going to be a good leader? One way that we can find out more information about someone we're voting for is from their campaign messages, like the one Shirley made to tell people that she was unbossed and unbought. Another way we can learn more about someone that we want to vote for is by watching or listening to debates where people who want to be leaders talk about what they plan to do if people vote for them. Find out what elections are coming up in your community. Maybe some of the grown-ups in your life are getting ready to vote for someone to lead in Congress or in your state or local government. Ask a grown-up how they find out information about the people they want to vote for. Thanks for learning with me, and we'll see you next time on History Time.